everyone. This is Dr. Melida Barrow. I'm the author of Unveiling the Illusion. Know who you are. Yes, know who you are. Welcome to Living Your Best Life Now. I am so happy to be here with all of you. I'm so thankful to God for giving me this wisdom and understanding. I appreciate all of you for tuning in tonight, and I welcome you. Tonight is a special night, like every other night. Tonight is a special night because we are going to talk about something so important, very important. And I want to begin by saying, God, thank you. Thank you to all of you out there as well. I want to let you know I'm the Universal Peace Ambassador for Panama. I'm the author of Unveiling the Illusion. And tonight we are going to unveil so many things. But these things that we're going to unveil is going to help you. It's going to help your life. It's going to help your children. It's going to help your family. Because I want to share something with you as well. All the shows that I've done, they're all of my experiences that I've went through, my life. And I just want to share all this with you because all of the negative things that's been in my life and the things that I've experienced, I've conquered a whole lot of them. And this is why I started this show. I started this show, Living Your Best Life Now, because there's so many of you that are in pain, that are hurting, that are depressed. And I know for a fact that you can live your best life right now. And this is why I started this show. So welcome. Welcome once again. I want to say welcome to Audrey and Marcia and Mr. Shadrach. From Fiji. Hello, how are you? I'm glad that you tuned in today. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Jessica Bab, hello, my cousin. I love you so much. And these are the things that we're going to be talking about tonight. Let me express and let me tell you what the title is going to be. Child Rearing Practices of Africa and the African Diaspora. How did it help or hinder our social development? This topic is for everyone, every single one in the world. But I chose Africa and the African diaspora. And the reason I chose this topic and this region is because I am part of this region. And I know for a fact that a lot of us are hurting. Since childhood, we have gone through so much. And now we are manifesting the things that we experienced during our childhood. And I want to start by, I don't know how many of you have really saw the post that I did on Facebook, and it talks about the examples of things that may have hindered our social development. One of the things that, give me 1 second, because I'm having a little technical difficulty here. I'm back. Here we go. So the 5 examples of things that may have hindered our social development. I want to start off by saying that during our childhood, during our childhood, we experienced so many things. I was born in Panama City, but my family, we have West Indian culture. I was raised under more so the West Indian culture than the Spanish culture. And one of the things that I've experienced was by watching other families, the things that they went through, the things that I went through. And I want to share that with you tonight. I spoke to many African brothers and sisters this week here, and it's funny because they had the same experience I did, even though they're all the way in Africa and we're all the way in Latin America and the West Indies. We're all sharing practically the same pain. So let's get started. I want to start off by talking about the lack of interaction in the home between parents and children. There's not much interaction when I was growing up. My grandfather, he would go to work, he would come back. We would talk, of course. But most of the time, I found, and this is my experience, I'm going to speak of my experience and the experience that I've seen, that I saw in our community. There was always a discipline factor in our lives. We were always disciplined. We were always told what to do, how to do it, when to come home, what time to come home. There was no time for us to think for ourselves. When it comes to communication, we're not talking to our children. We're dictating to our children. We don't have conversations with our children. We dictate to our children. And this is why we're having so much problems today. Not all of us. Again, I am speaking from my experience. I remember growing up when I tried to express myself, and this was not just at home, this was out of the home as well. Shut up. Go and sit down. I don't want to hear it. Cannot think for myself, cannot hold a conversation today. Previously, our parents were always telling us what to do, how to do it. We didn't get a chance to think. We didn't get a chance to explain ourselves. Even when a neighbor would say, she did this, parents didn't come home and ask us, at least mine, didn't come home and say, what really happened? Why were you in trouble? Immediately, I was beaten. And this wasn't spanking. This was literally whipping, beating. And my problem at that time was, give me an opportunity to explain what really happened. Because a lot of times, there are certain adults don't like children. And once they complain and tell your parent what happened, the parent don't want to hear anything. They just want to exercise the discipline. And what was that discipline? That discipline was a harsh disciplinary measures taken by our parents. Now I'm talking about those days, you see. And what are the results from those things? When a parent doesn't give a child an opportunity to speak, and the beating wasn't a 1-minute beating or a 2-minute beating, it was a beating, you see. Now, is this part of the culture? Yes, because we're talking about harsh discipline. I found some of the disciplines were abusive. And these abusive beatings cause so many things, so many feelings that was going through me at the time. This sometimes leads to verbal abuse and physical abuse towards others. You see, when a man is beaten by his father, when a man is very abusive to his son, then you wonder why the son becomes so verbally abusive and physical abuse that he may cause to his wife. We have to look back and why we are going through what we are going through. If we want to live a good life, the best life ever, but we can't reach to that point, is because there are things that have happened to us in the past and we're not able to deal with it today. We don't know why we are going through. We're suppressing all of these things with addiction, with drinking, with doing all these negative things, but we cannot find the solution to these things. Some people, by these harsh abuse, they become bullies. They fear. They lose their self-esteem. Inferiority complex they receive, they will experience. And sometimes we're wondering, what happened? Why am I in this condition that I'm in today? The inferiority complex causes so many things. Lack of self-worth, doubt and uncertainty about yourself, feelings of not measuring up to standards or to the normal standards of today. We can't even hold a conversation with someone. We are afraid to express ourselves. Because once you are getting these type of beatings that used to happen back then and still today, we find it impossible to even function in society. What does that really do for us? You are disciplining your children. They might be smart. Kids, these type of kids are always trying to please their parents so they get good grades. But what's happening with them socially? What's happening with their social behavior at school, with their friends? Oftentimes, what happens is that when we are getting all this and receiving and experiencing all this low self-esteem, what is happening to us is that we start mimicking other people. We don't want to really be who we are. There are a lot of us that are struggling with this pain inside. So we start mimicking other people, especially those that arrived to this country. When I first got here and I started high school here, and I'm watching all the young people with self-confidence, and I'm sitting there and was afraid to speak. I didn't know what to say to anybody. So I started mimicking them. I started acting like them. And then I started losing myself. Once I start losing myself, here comes low self-esteem, knocking at my door, telling me I need to enter. And what did I do? I said, you're welcome, come on in. The low self-esteem brings social withdrawal, hostility, and sensitivity to criticism. All these things is just boiling up. How many of you, when you first arrived here to this country, you felt powerful, you felt like you could do anything? Sure, you are out there, but what about those that experience what I experienced, and many? I am talking about this because it took years of suffering trying to figure out what happened. This is not a blame game, because my parents also went through what I went through. So it's going from one generation to the next. When is it that we're going to stop this? Sometimes parents are so harsh with their children, you would think that they were back in slavery. And I have this to say. Many great-grandmothers and great-great-grandmothers were in slavery. So they practiced exactly what the master practiced on them with their children. Was it because they were evil? No. It's because most of the time they were trying to protect their children. If you disrespect the master is going to whip you harder than I would. So I'm going to teach you and discipline you how to respect the master. You see, this is going from one generation to the next. We have to make a stop of this. We have to stop this. We have to stop this now, because our children are not able to function in society because we are so busy beating our children and not loving them. That's a problem. These children grow up not trusting anybody. What is the symptoms of lack of trust? Let me tell you. Suspicion, anxiety, and fear. This is what our children are going through. This is an issue, a very important issue in the Caribbean, in Africa, and throughout the diaspora. When I look at Jamaica, all the crimes that are happening in Jamaica, all these young people killing themselves. What's happening? That's the big question. Some of these kids are being abused mentally, physically. They're being violated. They're being mistreated. How many of our parents did not send us to the United States to be with your grandmother or your aunt or your uncle and you were mistreated? How many of you out there? And you still have that in you. How many? Those of you that are suffering today because of all these things that have happened to you, get the help that you need. But do not pass it down to another generation. We have to stop today. All the humiliations that our parents took us through. You know, back then in Panama, our parents used to curse at us and tell us, you better don't curse back at me. I can do it, but you can't do it. Where's the respect? There was no such things back then. These things cause you not to, there's so many people that don't trust, that are suffering today. They are suffering because they're not able to succeed. I don't care how many business you start. But if you can't trust anybody, then you're not going to be successful. The mistrust that interferes with our relationships and the fear. This is causing our children today to suffer. Yes. Humiliations, the treatment. You know, back then, our parents used to go to the school, and if the teacher said, she did this, she did this, she did that, our parents would ask us what really happened or what happened. The first thing is that they're going to beat you right there in that classroom in front of everybody. And then when you get home, you're going to get another whooping. In the African-American community, when you do wrong, go get the switch off the tree. And many of you have suffered those whippings. And I know what many of you are going to say. I turned out good. Really? You don't have any issues. You don't have no low self-esteem. You don't have inferiority complex. You don't have any of those issues. I remember the words that used to hit me and many others growing up. You're stupid. You're an idiot. Are you retarded? What happened? Go and sit down. You're ugly. You don't look nothing like your sister. You're not light enough. We had that issue in Panama, in the West Indian, in the African diaspora, Puerto Rico, Mexico, all over. A child is born light complexion. The parent is saying to them, guess what? You're dark, you're too dark, you can't wear this. You can't wear red, you can't wear black. These things traumatize our children. Your lips is too big. They call you the B word. They call you the N word. Cursing words. You're just like your father. You're going to end up just like him. A jailbird, a crackhead, no good. He can never find a job. You're just like him. How many of you haven't heard that? Parents, listen to me. Please listen to me tonight. You are going to be just like your mother. This is probably what your grandmother is telling you. She's going to be, you're just going to be like her, a whore, no good, wicked. What do you think that you are doing to that child? You're beating this child because he looks like his father. You're mistreating your daughter because she looks like her mother. You say negative things to them day in and day out. What do you think is going to happen to that child? And then you expect this child to be an A student. You want this child to be a doctor. When the child comes to you and say, Mama, Daddy, I want to be a doctor. You, please. How many of you haven't heard that? Where you think I'm going to get the money to send you to be a doctor? Mama, I want to be a lawyer, please. Don't come here with that foolishness. I don't want to hear them foolishness. Your dream just dropped. In other words, she's telling you, you cannot be any of those things. It is not possible. The whole of the U.S. and the world never thought that there could be a black man as the president of the United States. That was foreign to their mind. Until a man stood up and said, I can do it. When in fact, you yourself, the whole world thought, oh my God, a black man as the president in the United States. So this is not about just Africa and the diaspora. These feelings is from the world. This society have caused all this pain and hurt and frustration and depression. We have to stop that. We have the power to do so. But you don't think you do. You think by just beating your children. Sure, they might be good, but they have some issues going on in their lives. What do you think is going to happen to your children when you're doing all these things? You know what's happening? They're creating more prisons. I know some of you are saying, not my daughter. My daughter is fine. But you have no clue what your daughter is doing when she's away to college. All the problems that she might be having, manifesting everything after so many years of abuse. People are still talking, my Panamanian friends, Jamaican friends, that when they came to the United States, they stayed with the uncle and the aunt and they were mistreated. And they had to leave. How many of you are telling your children right this minute, when you're 18, you got to go? But have you prepared your child to leave? What have you done? What an 18-year-old knows about going out in this world? You can barely make it. What makes you think your child is going to make it? You pack their bundle up and you send them off. To what? To misery, depression, pain. You are destroying your children. I was one of them because I started doing the same thing my mother was doing to me and my father and everybody else behind them. But I had to stop it. And I did, thank God. I started telling them how much I love them, hugging them, kissing them, being with them, telling them to tell me what your problems are, and sitting down with them at dinner. Tell me what your day was like today. Tell me if you're having any problems at school. So until today, anytime they have a problem, they call me. Ma, I have this problem. I have that problem. You see, the critical inner voice and self-hatred is going to knock the door of your children, and they are going to open it because they have no clue of what self-worth is. They have no clue. You beat it out of them. Huh? They have no clue what self-love is. You beat it out of them. You haven't spent the time with them to sit down and talk with them. The self-love, my goodness. There's so many people out here today that are going through self-love issues. They don't love themselves. How can you? When your mother calling you stupid and idiot and you're foolish and all these things. You're beating me just to read the Bible. You're beating me for me to go to sleep. You're beating me for everything. If I don't get in the shower quick enough, you're beating me. Oh my goodness. How can I value me? How to be kind to myself when I'm always being abused? How? How can I be affectionate to myself when from growing up I'm being abused, mentally, physically mistreated? Oh my goodness. I know that there's so many things going on in your life. Degrading, criticizing, and judging others to feel superior. That is how we mimicking. You see, sometimes they will reverse those feelings. We'll reverse those feelings on others to make them feel unworthy, to make somebody else feel unworthy, no value. So then you feel good. Even people who seem well adjusted out here, don't fool yourselves. Even people that are well adjusted out here and well liked in the social circles have deep-seated feelings of being an outcast or a fraud. In other words, what I'm saying to you is that I don't care if you are a judge, a doctor, an astronaut. I don't care who you are. I know that you have deep problems in there. You try to do the best that you can to become who you are today. But there's deep-seated feeling, the hurt, the pain is still deep down there. It is time to release. There are so many Christians that are in pain today. That's why most of them seek to go to the church. They need help. But the help, are they getting? Are they really trying to figure out why are they in the condition that they're in? We have rivalry with our siblings because parents are saying, you know, he don't like you, and parents are causing confusion with their children. Stop it. Vilma is smarter than Roberto. When a child hears that, oh my God, what are you doing, parent? Mustafa is lighter complexion, so I like him more. Lucia has good hair, but Margaret, her hair is hard, meaning it's kinky. It's no good. What are you doing to your children? But I want to break it down real quick. You see, when people talk about slavery, they talk about it in the past. But we, the great-great-grands and the great-great-grands, we are manifesting what happened in the past. And we have no one to talk to because we don't want to talk about this. Why? Because we feel as though that I'm a doctor now, so I can't tell everybody what I'm feeling. I'm ashamed. There's many things that are manifesting in us due to that period. Our parents are doing exactly and did exactly what was done to them. And we are now living it. But I have a message for you tonight. And that message is, if you are having these types of experiences, self-doubt, you don't feel good about yourself, go back and find out why. I want you to go back. I want you to find out why, because I did. I went back and I discovered that how can I blame my parents? How? They suffered like I did. But we have the power to change that. We have the power now to teach our children. If they want to come and talk to you, let them speak. Because socially, they're not able to function in society. I just spoke to a young man today, Efen Udom, in Nigeria. And he said, Dr. Barrow, he said to me, he said, I'm experiencing, he's in college. He's in college now, and he's experiencing, he cannot make decisions. He's socially incapable of making decisions. That's what he said. I can't make these decisions now. When you get a supervisor's job or a management job, you can't even apply, or people see and watch you, how you manage yourself. They're not going to hire you because of how you're acting. You're so subdued, you're withdrawn. They always see that you're quiet. They can't give you that position. It's because of what you have gone through and what you are going through. And I want you to live the best life that you can. Because I can say that I am living my best life now. And why? Because I had to go back and research, where was this anger coming from? What was happening to me? I want to live. Why am I in pain? Why do people need drugs and to drink and to do all these things? They are suppressing what is going on in their life. All they have seen is negativity in their homes, fighting in their homes, people calling you all kind of names, day in and day out. And all they're telling you is, oh, what you cannot do. No, you can't go to college. You're too stupid. You're too dumb. You're just like your daddy. No. Yes, you can. I'm here to tell you, yes, you can. You can do what God intended you to do. You are great. Tell yourself that. Put on there, I am great. I am powerful. Every single one of you that is online with me, write that. I am powerful. I am great. I know who I am. I'm going to go back and I'm going to find out what happened to me. Why am I not speaking to my wife when my wife is trying to converse with me? Why am I walking away from problems? Why is it that I can't solve anything in my home? What's happening to me? It's from your childhood. Go back. Be the man that God created you to be. Be the woman that God created you to be. Powerful. Strong. When you pray tonight, when you just pray, God give me strength. No. give you, not say no, I won't say no, give you strength, but also give you the knowledge and the wisdom and the understanding to know what to do with that strength. Hello. To know what to do with the strength once he give it to you. You see, we always praying for things that we want. No, God already giving you the tools. He already giving you those tools. But you don't know how to use those tools because of the things that have happened to you during childhood and during adulthood. Get the tools. Don't listen to people when they tell you you need the Spirit and you already got it. God created you powerful and great. You don't need to search anymore. It's there. The problem is that it's been taken away from you. Reactivate it. It is not deleted. All you got to do is reactivate it. Don't let your past hold you back. Fix it and be the man and woman you were meant to be. I want to thank you tonight. God, thank you once again for blessing me and for guiding me to speak to your people. No man is superior to you. Always remember that. No man on this earth is superior to you. When you go back to work tomorrow, get rid of all that feeling bad about yourself. Walk in there with your head up high. Yes, walk in there with your head up high. No matter what's going on in your job, somebody's picking on you, somebody's trying to get you fired, walk in there with your head up high. If you don't like the job, get another one. If you can't leave and you're getting ready to retire, still walk with your head up high. That's my message for today. And I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you. This is Dr. Melida Harris Barrow. My show is Living Your Best Life Now. I'm living it, and I want you to definitely join me. Join me. This is a movement. Tell the world, I am going to live my best life now as of this minute. And all the things that's been hindering you, it's time to move on. This might be a part 2 show. And I hope you join me next week, Thursday. The show is every Thursday from 8 to 8:30. And I know I probably passed over a little bit, but that's okay. I just want to thank you guys. I love you. I'm going to always love you. And now I want you to go now to my next program in the next 5 minutes. And that program is about Let's Talk. Let's talk about what we just got through talking about. Go on my Facebook and you're going to see Zoom. You can click on the link and you will be joining me within 3 minutes or so. I want to thank you. Make sure you subscribe to melidaharrisbarrow.com. And also, you can purchase my book on my website, Unveiling the Illusion, Know Who You Are. And that is exactly what we need, all of us need to do. I love you all. Thank you guys for all the hearts that you're showing me right now. I love you. May God bless you. Good night.